Good morning and welcome to another edition of Blue Jay Acres Homestead. I'm Charles, and I thank you guys for being with us this morning. So a lot of odds and ends that need to get accomplished today, starting with this huge bowl of scrap food, a lot of eggshells and some smaller eggs that were just too small to sell. And they've been accumulating for a couple of weeks, so not really sure how old some of them were. So we're not going to try to sell them or give them away. We just cooked them up, and I'm going to give those to the animals this morning. Need to go let the turkeys and chickens out. They are way past due this morning, but better locked up and alive than eaten by a predator. So we'll get into that, I guess, a little bit more here in a few minutes, but been a rough couple days for the pen for the chickens and the turkeys. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna get this over to the some of the animals this morning. I think there's enough there to give to pretty much all the animals this morning, or at least a little bit to all of them, and make them very happy this morning with a great breakfast. So I'm gonna get to that, and I'll be back in just a minute. Fence is on. Y'all were the noisiest eaters. Alright, I'll be back with water. Well, that's the watering chore for this morning. It takes, to do it right, if they need cleaned, at least an hour to get the mini brooder chicks, which was the last ones I did, all of the mobile tractor chickens, this run, the big run. There's somewhere in the vicinity of like 70 birds in the big run, so they get about 8 gallons of water, and for the most part they will go through that and need to be refilled in the afternoon if it's really hot. If it's not too bad, that could last them all day. I want to take just a minute to talk about something I mentioned earlier. It has been frustrating, a little on the devastating side, because we just don't know how to solve the problem. But we have lost, in the last 4 days, we have lost in the last 4 days, we have lost 5 of the Orpington, I believe they are, roosters that we had planned on growing out and putting in the freezer to an aerial predator. So yesterday I babysat this coop for the most part. I did some work over in the driveway. I'll show you that a little bit later. But I did a lot of babysitting yesterday. Everything was good. I left for maybe 45 minutes to take Ronnie to school. By the time I got back, we had another dead rooster. And I mean, it's bold. It's right in the run, eats them in the run, almost like drags them underneath the mobile coop to go to town. So one of them had kind of scratched up a turkey. So I don't know. We are very, very frustrated. I did some mesh. Well, I did some twine, just kind of crisscross, kind of spider webby. I don't know if you can see it back here. The sun's gonna get in my eyes, so I can't see what you see. But all the way back in here, I've done crisscross, trying to do a visual barrier to, to make it think twice about flying down into the coop, because there's some kind of a barrier in the way. And that made absolutely no difference at all yesterday. So I tightened it up a little bit more in case I had to walk back to the house. I kind of closed some of the gaps on it, but this is not working. So I'm gonna take it down today. I gotta move this mobile coop anyway. So the plan is to kind of relay out the fence. By the way, we did try reflective. I got some old CDs, DVDs, shiny side up, trying to just create some issues, but it just flies in, lands on top of the coop, I think, and picks what it wants to go after and goes to town. So I'm gonna have to come up with something that is much tighter. And I did have a person who gets eggs off of us, who I mentioned it to, and they had a landscaping business, so they have some 1-inch square landscaping netting for when they put down grass seed and stuff like that to hold the straw down. So I gotta figure out how I want to do it, but I think I'm gonna run a couple of runs of that across the top of this. It makes it very difficult to get in at night and close them, because you gotta bend down to get underneath, but until we can, I guess, deter that bird from coming in and doing the kills, then it's going to be what it's going to be. So that's on my list of things to do today. It is highly disappointing, but it is what it is. So good news is I'm home all day today, with the exception of a little bit of running in the afternoon, and we can keep an eye on these birds and take our time getting this fence moved around. So plus I need to move it with them live, like out. So that could be a bit of a challenge, but I have noticed a couple times when the sidewall's gotten knocked down because of the attack, they haven't tried to get out. So that might actually be a benefit. But I can't move this coop with the current tires on it, so I got to get that figured out too. And then probably have to throw some mulch or something under there just to give it a level surface so I can roll it out, because they have made dust baths where the tires would go. So there is that. But maybe some good news. But not everything is, we'll call it a challenge right now. There are some good things going on I want to show you too. One, we left this weed pile behind me alone because we have a random squash, just volunteer plant growing, and it is doing fantastic. So that is a really positive thing because we lost most of our squash earlier this year to squash bugs, as many of you did, I'm sure. And so, hey, we're not into squash bug season right now. This plant can thrive all at once. Let me show you some more. So this was our corn patch, which some of that is 9 feet tall, but we didn't get a lot. And that's okay. This was an experiment, but I will say, just looking at all of this looks like it's growing fantastic. So I'm hopeful. Soil conditions being right, maybe a little bit more protection from wind, I don't know, but I think we could really grow corn good here. This is the most important part. Look at these squash in here. So I planted these. I was going to try the Three Sisters, and so I got as far as getting the squash in, and it got overgrown, and I wasn't sure anything was going to flourish. But we have some huge flowering going on this squash, and that's not all of it. So I don't think anything's found it over here, but here's another one that kind of grew up, and I think that's great. Let's see, look at my corn all squished on the ground. But this one's growing more squash. This one's growing quite a bit more squash. Let me see if I can get in there. There we go. You can kind of see that. So we are hopeful we could get some good butternut squash out of that particular patch. Not worried if we don't, but it would be nice. The tomatoes, if you guys can tell, the tomatoes are still growing strong. We are having some drought issues where I can't keep them watered enough. But we have quite a few tomatoes still going on. That's a good thing. And then, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. So I may water this today. It's got a few dry spots in it, but I have been trying to grow cucumbers all year long, and you can see we have flowering going on in the cucumbers, and there's a few plants there that are alive, so I'll probably weed them out just a little bit. But super excited that we might actually get a cucumber. That's all I want. I think that might be all it takes to make me happy with cucumbers this year, is if I could just get one good cucumber out of our garden this year, since we have great luck with them every year and this is just not turning out to be that year. I would be really happy if we can just get one. So, it's supposed to get rain tonight. I have no faith in that at all. In fact, it actually said it was supposed to rain this afternoon, off and on, thunder showers, more storms developing overnight. But when you look at the hourly, there's nothing. 1%, 2%. And it didn't start off great either, because this morning's forecast said mostly cloudy this morning. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But folks, there is barely a cloud in the sky, so weather forecast is way off for today. Folks, it is hot out here this afternoon. We are getting a little bit of a tease of rain. And I think my aerial friend has been flying over a couple of times. Let's pull this cart up here. So, got them all hiding underneath the coop, which is a good place for them to be. I'm sure some of that's because of just protecting themselves, and well, the rest is because it's just daggone hot in the sun. But for me to do what I need to do next, it means moving the coop, and in order to move the coop, I have to get wheels on the coop. New wheels on the coop. So, I got my cart, got some tools, got the wheels. It's very heavy because I got the mesh with me too. And we'll get in here and see what I can do with this wheel. We've still had the kind of overhead threat of rain for the last hour or so. So I left the camera inside. As you know, cameras and rain get along really well. So I'm going to take you out and just kind of show you what we've gotten done so far. I made 3 runs. I'm going to flip it up over my shoulder. I made 3 runs across the top, and I've got them all tied together. And yeah, I'm tired. That took a little bit. Sorry if I'm winded. But I got that all strung. They're moved. They're happy. So for now, I've opened up the little side just to kind of air it out. I need to get in there and just go ahead and clean the bedding out yet. And I have that major roll, a huge roll. I gotta put some ties on that and bring that in. And then I'll probably take the excess here and maybe roll it up on some sort of 2x4 or tubing of some sort. I gotta see what I've got. I went ahead and I cut those pieces long because this is the smaller fence. It's about 15 panels. The one that is in total disarray over there, yep, that one's about 20 panels. But for now, I think I can rest a little easier and not worry about watching them all the time. Plus, it is a little closer to the barn, and I'm hoping that has some bearing on how likely it is something's going to try to attack them. So, well, I don't think there's much more I can get done tonight. So I guess I'm going to have to stop it here. I want to thank you very much for tuning in and watching this particular episode. I hope you come back and join us. And I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. And this is another one, Noel, you're just going to edit out because I just am so tired. I'm not thinking clearly. Boop. Well, that is going to do it for me for tonight. There isn't much more I can do that hasn't already been done because it is just too dark. So I am going to wrap the video up here, and we'll see what we can record for you tomorrow as we continue to do some things to move us forward. So that's it for me. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.